Hey everybody, Mizzo's here again for State of Runeterra. We're going to go Bandle City right now. Um, as a champion pool, I would say, except for Yumi, all these champions are pretty playable. Triss is on the up. Nora's been good since he got here, and everybody else is fairly solid. Not one to truly hate on its own. Like Yumi's probably the worst, but somebody will make her broken at some point. It just hasn't happened yet. So the thing I'm going to say about Bandle City, they were supposed to be the jack of all trades, but they're kind of like the master of all in a weird way. So right now the game's too fast for them, but when that slows down, probably post rotation, and the game gets a little slower, I think. Um, this will come back in fashion because this is Value Town as much as there's ever been. Period. Period. So, um, how were they the masters of all the archetypes? Well, they've had to nerf Bandle City into the ground every time they print a card that's any good. Because they almost gave them Yordle Elites and they gave them buff Yordles similar to Champion Strength 2. So they have had a hard time balancing this faction. That's okay. At least they're balancing it. The thing I'll say about this, I think it's a good faction. It goes a lot of different directions. It doesn't really like from Mecha Yordles to the pranks to any other play type to the Fae to the whatever else is in here. It's definitely any of the portals. It has many different ways to play the game that are distinctly different, don't seem the same, don't play together, and you can find definitely some magical cards to play in here on your own that I think are fantastic. I think the only failure in this set is Mecha Yordles, and not the Mecha Yordles themselves. It's how you get the Mecha Yordles that are really the problem. You have to discard cards. What does Rumble want to do? Discard cards. So you have to discard the cards you got to get these cards. It's just kind of a waste, in my opinion. And I think Mecha Yordles could be great, but they're really fragile. It's kind of like playing a LeBlanc deck. It's like you need a lot of stuff to go right and your stuff not to go away. If it does, it's not going to be the best for you. But I like this pretty much throughout. It's given us a lot of interesting, different play types. I mean, there was Fae buffing. Shoot. I mean, there's all sorts of good cards in here that are just good on their own. Like, this dude was turbo busted. I mean, there's just so many good cards in these. So, the one thing I would say that this was the strongest at, and people have caught up, is Value Town. Everybody's got a full hand all the time now. Very rarely you don't. So, like, I will say, in general, they were the first to do it at the time. I wouldn't say they're the best to do it. Like, few decks could keep up card to card with them because they just got so much value. And they have fun, different ways to play the game and support, puff caps. They support the prank playing. They have good draw. They have a counter now. This is deals with any problem, and when problems come back in the meta that can't really be dealt with, this is going to be strong again. Like and Meduli, I mean, they just have good stuff. Let alone like Arsenal Fun. Mirror Mage hasn't been broken yet, but I'm sure something will come around to make us all hate it at some point. So, what I'll say about Bandle City, it's usually in a strong place. It's like, how do I put this? Different ways to play the game, unlike any other faction, are not even close in general. Like, there's things that might play like something, but in general, their play types are singular and original and not a clone from something else, except for maybe the elite experiment that failed, thankfully, and they nerfed that into the ground with this guy and the guy that gave +1/+1, like Bladesmith. But having like Bandle Tree and now the Weapon Masters being good, and that deck can pop off like, I think like turn 7, that's pretty good. And if it gets better somehow, some way, and we go multi-region a little more, that could be great. So, in general, a good faction. It just needs a meta shift. Maybe the meta changing after rotation will be good for it. I mean, it's got some strong cards, and just in general, things that are problems that are hard to deal with and not a traditional way.